Hello everybody, it's Cabbage Gloves here with a couple nuclear things. So let me show you what my nuclear powers have gone off. That is the young one. Sadly, it is kind of too late to kill all the TNT, but that's a hint of what's going to happen in the video. Yeah. Okay, I found it. So this is what it's supposed to look like. Yep. And the step shot also works. Combine them both together, and you'll get TNT going right here. Inspired by Cubic Meter and the Zoroastrian Cannon, I designed a paper plugin that does exactly this. And the code is actually trivial. Let me show you. This is the code. So let me explain. So first we create a class on public boolean. And on command center, blah 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 blah. And you have to be a player to use this command. For example, if I use /fire 111 nuke 1111, this command can only be used by players. You have to be a player to use this. And next we'll check the config.yml for allowed players. It will list them allowed players to get the config in stringless and in path allowed players. And if an allowed player is on here, for example, if I put it myself, then I'll be able to run the command, even if I have a survival. And the args length. So basically, if the command is incomplete, for example, it will show me how to use it. So XYZ, payload views, spacing rings, TNT per ring. Next we'll get the arguments from the from these. First, we'll check for X, Y, and Z, and they're all numbered. Then we'll check the payload string, and it has to be lowercase. So basically, nuke or step shot, fuse sticks. This basically means how much time until the TNT will explode. For example, and 80 or 40 seconds is how long it takes for it to explode. Spacing is how far the TNT are apart. So for example, if I put it 5 blocks apart, then the TNT are 5 blocks apart in cubic meters. And then we'll get the integer from fuse sticks, and if it is great, and if it is greater than 0, then I will give the player a warning saying fuse sticks must be 0 or greater. And then spacing greater or equal to 0, then spacing must be greater to 0. And the default values are for rings and TNT per ring are 10 and 150. If additional parameters aren't provided, we use them. So for example, the rings, we'll use them. And I actually never... Wait, that's a feature of the plugin? I forgot I added that. So wait, which ones are it? Oh! That's actually super cool. So that's what was that feature of the plugin I added. Rings must be between 1 and 50. Oh. So basically, it must be between 1 or 50. And if it's less than 50, then it'll show this message. I mean, if it's bigger than 50, then it'll show this message. If it's less, if it's less than 1, then it'll show the message. Same for this. If it is bigger than 500, then it will show the message. If it is less than 1, then it will show the message. And this is how it works. So basically, well, we have 2 classes, launch nuke and launch stab. We'll basically call these when we are using them. For example, like for the nuke. Okay, sludge nuke, then we'll call the protocol for intimate rings, integer TNT per ring, integer fuse 6, double spacing. And basically, what it will do is it will spawn. Is that at the target location, it will use the TNT per rings, fuse 6, and spacing one making the nuke, and then it will send the player a message launching nuke at coordinates X, Y, and Z with however many rings and however much TNT per ring, however much fuse, and however much spacing. Same with the stab shot, but for some reason they also include the rings. No, they don't. Yeah, no, they don't. So X is Z because we don't need Y. With fuse 6, tick fuse, and spacing, block spacing. And basically what this does, it will basically make an integer called angle step. Like, hey, what? Where's that called? It will basically use angle to 0, and then it will be greater than 360. Then angle step. Then we'll call radian. Then the radian will be mapped to radion's angle. Then X and Z center get X. So we'll get the center of X and we'll get the center of Z. And then we'll do the math for radius. For both radiuses. And then for the stab, we just spawn the TNT at each Y block position in the world at the coordinates. So yeah, even though I showed the code, I didn't show how to register the command. That's probably a good thing, because if I did, then most people would have recreated all of this. But if you're a paper developer and you copy the code and decide to publish it, it's too bad, because I'm gonna make a Spigot page for this. It'll be in the link at the description with how to use it. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later. Peace out.